in the morning light. My mother says, when you're gonna live your life right.
Hi confidence campers, welcome to day 28. Break some rules. If you're still with us, then that means that you have incredible endurance, and we're really happy that you're still here because we only have a few days left to go. Today we have a guest who is going to talk to us about some ways to break rules without getting in trouble. You see, sometimes when we encourage people to break rules, they think, well, what do you want? Do you want me to go out and do something that will put myself or others in harm's way, or to land me in jail? No, none of that. What we want you to do is we want you to begin to think differently about what are the barriers that are holding you back. And in each of our Villa leadership programs, in our exercises, we often do, we focus on what are some of the barriers. Sometimes barriers that hold us back are internal, like our lizard brain, and sometimes they're external, like the culture that we came from. And I always ask this question: is there somebody in your life who came before you, a mother, a grandmother, an aunt, who was a culture breaker? Somebody who stepped out of the norm and said, I think I'll do it differently. And most of the time, everybody raises their hand because there was somebody who did it for them. When we're encouraging you to break some rules, we're asking you to step up and step out, not just for yourself, but for others. I'm going to introduce to you Evelyn Espinal. I've known Evelyn for several years now, and when I thought about this topic and who might be the best spokesperson for it, Evelyn instantly came to mind. The important thing about Evelyn is that she doesn't break rules for the sake of breaking rules. She breaks rules for change, and she takes measured risks. She always has a plan. She always has a backup. And she's going to tell you a little bit about how that works for her, because for Evelyn, there are no barriers. She sees something that she wants to do, she wants to try, and she goes for it. And she finds a way to make it happen. She's got fire in her personality, she's got energy, and she is a delightful human being. So I'm really happy to welcome Evelyn. After Evelyn, we're going to replay a short video we made earlier this year for International Women's Day, and for our theme called Be Bold for Change. We had a lot of fun making this video, and we just want to remind you that there are many small ways that you can step out of that comfort zone, break a few rules, break a few glass ceilings, and make some change in your life. Thanks again for being with us. Hang in there. We will see you tomorrow.
Hello, my name is Evelyn Espinal. I am very fortunate to have the role of Vice President of HR for Supply Chain Americas for Unilever. I've been asked to make a video on breaking the rules, how to break them, why to break them, when to break them. And I think that's a very important topic for us as women and as women leaders to tackle. I'm actually facilitating a large-scale transformation both in North America and in Latin America with two separate leadership teams who struggle with this idea of being bound by the need to have an all-green scorecard and the need to ensure that they live up to all the expectations of all the powers that be. And in the end, that could translate to following a lot of rules and perhaps sometimes not doing the things that might be more disruptive and more innovative and that could actually yield a better result for their local market because they're worried about the rules that they think that they need to abide by. And so for me, basically, I've learned to trust my instincts on when I think that a policy or a way of working or a fundamental belief or assumption in the work that I'm doing has perhaps served its time. And I start to pick at it and question it with others to see if others also think that maybe we're on the verge of a disruptive change that we need to bring. I've also learned to think about my key stakeholders, because not everyone is served by the same policies in the same way. So there are moments where perhaps my local stakeholders would have a lot more benefit by my taking a risk and perhaps not following something to the letter in order to do the right thing for the business, versus a global stakeholder who's actually applying a different yardstick and is actually thinking about broader implications. So using my network to help me test the level of risk that I'll be going on to by doing that, by breaking a rule, has served me well. And then I think lastly, I always think about who I am and what I want to be remembered for. And so if I find myself in those moments where, you know, my actions will make me be remembered as the administrative HR person that follows all the rules and, you know, applies the party line, that's actually not the legacy that I want to leave behind. But when the result that I'm poised to achieve by perhaps, you know, pushing against the boundary would actually leave a legacy of Evelyn being someone who did the right thing for the business and pushed the boundaries and brought about new thinking, then I think that that's a risk worth taking.
What you gonna do with your life? Oh, Daddy D, you know you're still number one. And girls just want